When it comes to Star Wars and strategy games, it's hard to forget the amazing Empire at War or Galactic Battlegrounds, which is essentially a reskinned Age of Empires game in the Star Wars universe. And when EA announced that they were making a new strategy game set in the Star Wars universe, many, including myself, got excited thinking that we will get something similar to Empire at War, but with modern graphics. However, recently at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, it was announced that Star Wars Zero Company is actually a turn-based tactical game, essentially XCOM, but set in the Star Wars universe. Now, it's fairly obvious that I'm a huge XCOM fan, and I've been wanting XCOM 3 for a very long time, but since it's almost been 10 years since the release of XCOM 2, I highly doubt we'll get XCOM 3 anytime soon, if at all. But Star Wars Zero Company seems to be the next best thing, and will definitely fill that XCOM void. But how will it hold up, especially considering XCOM 2 has so many mods, especially Star Wars inspired? Now first, let's look at what exactly is Zero Company. As I said, it is a turn-based tactical game, a single-player game set in the era of the Clone Wars, where the game explores the war's hidden layers through stealth, sabotage, and strategic operations, stepping away from grand battles to focus on smaller, pivotal missions. Now, the short description on Steam reads as follows, quote, "Command an elite squad through a gritty and authentic story in Star Wars Zero Company, a single-player turn-based tactics game developed by BitReactor in collaboration with Respawn Entertainment and Lucasfilm Games. Set in the twilight of the Clone Wars, you will step into the shoes of Hawks, a former Republic officer who leads Zero Company, an unconventional outfit of professionals for hire hailing from across the galaxy. Hawks and Zero Company are recruited for an operation that pits them against an emergent threat that will consume the galaxy if left unchecked. To succeed, Hawks will lead a team of uneasy allies who must set aside their differences to overcome nearly impossible odds." End quote. Now, Hawks essentially is the commander in the story, so it's kind of like you taking control of your squad. And EA did upload the entire presentation from Star Wars Celebration on their website. I recommend you check it out if you want a bit more information on the game. But BitReactor essentially laid out 4 core pillars that drive the game's design. Basically, they said that Star Wars is at its core, meaning that every element must reflect authentic lore. They also talk about meaningful choices, where players' decisions will have major consequences, probably similar to XCOM. Then they talk about cinematic, or it being cinematic and approachable, basically blending visual storytelling with strategic complexity, as well as strategy and combat, ensuring tactical depth. They repeatedly emphasized that immersion doesn't have to come at the cost of accessibility. Now, as I said, the main character is Hawks, a customizable former Republic officer turned leader of Zero Company, a rogue tactical squad operating behind enemy lines. Players will guide Hawks through a narrative arc that reflects personal redemption, tactical leadership, and moral ambiguity. It is nice that Hawks, or essentially the commander in the story, is fully customizable, so I do wonder how that will play out in cutscenes, and if you'll essentially have some dialogue options, as that will really bring a little bit uniqueness to this genre. Now, Zero Company does include both handcrafted and user-created characters, but in the trailer they featured on 4 main squad mates. Trick, who is a loyal clone trooper with a tough past, Lugo, a sniper harboring resentment towards the Republic, Clyde, a Mandalorian on a personal vendetta, and Talria, a Tognath Jedi Padawan continuing her master's mission. I'm guessing these 4 characters will be kind of some of the core characters in the story, but as mentioned, they do say that it supports full customization, letting players choose species, appearance, gear, and even create an all astromechs squad if you really want to. During this presentation, they also spoke about your den, essentially the Avenger from XCOM 2, to plan missions, interact with team members, and upgrade equipment. The den also features a galaxy map enabling players to select missions based on evolving war conditions across known and new Star Wars planets. One of the developers then mentions dynamic relationships between squad members which impact both story and tactics. For example, if you send Trick and Lugo, who both have tense backstories, on a mission together, they can build trust on a deeper conflict. Again, similar to XCOM 2. These bonds unlock combat synergies and influence mission outcomes. During their presentation, they also unveiled the new ship, the Q-Son, and its unique droid pilot, Mevo, which has its own personality that enhance narrative and mission immersion. The galaxy map promises vast strategic options with detailed mission environments. Players might, for example, raid pirate outposts or infiltrate separatist strongholds on planets with different biomes. As for some of the inspiration of the story, they did mention Andor and Rogue One, so you may see similar themes from that series and the movie crossing over with the game. And as for platforms, it is planned to be released on PC, PS5, Xbox Series S and X in 2026. So hopefully by next year this time we'll see some more gameplay, as the trailer itself, although it has a very nice cinematic attached to the front end of the trailer, the back end of the trailer shows some gameplay which again resembles XCOM 2, which has me very excited. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it is going to be tough not comparing this game to XCOM 2, especially because XCOM 2 has so many Star Wars mods. Heck, there's even complete overhaul mods for XCOM 2 that turns the game into Star Wars, making it honestly one of the best Star Wars turn-based games ever. But I do hope this game also supports mods, because mods is what's keeping XCOM 2 alive almost 10 years later. But that is pretty much everything we know about Star Wars Zero Company at the moment. As mentioned, I did not expect it to be an XCOM clone. Initially, I was excited because I expected a RTS, but this being a turn-based tactical game has me even more excited because I've been wanting XCOM 3 for such a long time. And regardless of how you feel about the Star Wars franchise at this moment, this is definitely a game that I'm going to keep on my radar. But what do you think about Star Wars Zero Company, or at least its announcement? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like this video then give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it then give me a thumbs down, or please tell me why so I can improve my videos. Until next time, thank you for watching.